Okay, Year 12s, what we're looking at here is how to use the home loan repayment calculators that are on the bank websites to figure out the repayments, whether it's per week or per fortnight. Now, the first thing is I need you to understand that there are two different kinds of calculator on all the bank websites. The first one is the borrowing power, which is essentially getting it to calculate how much you could conceivably borrow. This one's different. This is not the borrowing power one. This is looking at what would your repayments be. Okay, now every bank looks different in its borrowing power, in its repayment calculators. So I'm going to run you through just 3 banks. You don't have to use these banks, but just to see what it looks like. Okay, so straight up, this is Suncorp. If you look at the home loan calculators in Suncorp, that's their borrowing power one. We don't want that. We go here, what will my mortgage repayments be? Calculate now. Okay. Righto, so we've got this kind of page, which they're all going to ask much the same things. Like, first of all, how much is the property worth and how much you need to borrow. Now, let's say it's worth 350,000 and you've got a deposit of 40,000, so you need to borrow 310,000. So you've got to subtract your deposit from the property value. Okay. Owner occupied, in other words, you're going to live in it. Yep. Okay. And go for 30 years, and let's go weekly. Okay, and I'm paying off the principal and interest, which means, you know, I'm not just paying off the interest. I'm trying to get the principal, which is that's the principal there. I'm trying to pay that off as well. Here's what it says. It would cost me $440 a week. Okay, and over the 30 years, that's how much interest I would pay, which is a lot, but don't worry about that just now. So what you would need is a screenshot of all of this. Okay, and that's what Suncorp gives you. All right, so that's how Suncorp works it. Let's look at St. George. All right, so if you Google St. George home loan calculators, this is what's going on here. Home loan repayment calculator. Click on that one. All right, so how much would you like to borrow? So this one's even simpler because this is asking you straight up, how much do you need for the loan? Okay, which again is your the property value minus your deposit. Okay, let's get that to a weekly. So it's going to be $462 a week. Again, so if you're going to go with this, you would need a screenshot of all those details. All right, and lastly, let's look at NAB, National Australia Bank. There's their borrowing power one. We don't want that right now. We want calculate home loan repayments. Click on that one. Okay. Righto. So this one looks a little different. It's a new loan. We are living in it. It's principal and interest. The property value now, let's say it's 350,000, and let's say my deposit is 40,000. I'm going to go with the weekly thing again. Okay, here we go, $440 weekly. That's the thing there. So now some of it, you might need actually 2 screenshots to capture everything, but you just need to use the website's repayment schedule calculator to get all the details. Now, I will just point out before you go off and do it that the website you use, the bank you use, is the one that you chose from looking at the borrowing power. Okay, you would have done the borrowing power calculators before this one. If you pick I don't know, Bendigo, don't use St. George in this one. Okay, you've got to use the bank that you chose earlier. All right, off you go.